Welcome to episode 120 of the Left Behind Game Club. This week we continue our Hitman 2 series with part 4, Chasing a Ghost. Let's go to Mumbai.
You're listening to the Left Behind Game Club.
Welcome to the Left Behind Game Club, our never-ending attempt to make sure that no game is left behind. I'm your host, Jacob McCord, and today I have two friends with me. The first friend, you know him, you'll love him. His name is Michael Ruffalo.
I'm excited to talk about a very great map and mission and challenge.
Let's pew-pew in Mumbai with my second friend. His name is Moe and Mike.
This is probably one of my favorite levels I've played in Hitman in a while.
It's so different, and we're going to talk about that as we chase a ghost in the Mumbai level of Hitman 2. Now, if you've not heard any of our other Hitman 2 coverage, make sure that you look through the feed and watch and listen to the first 3 parts before you jump into this one. But gentlemen, we'll do what we always do. Share our scores. The lowest score explains their playthrough first. Is that cool?
Cool.
Let's do it.
All right, so you've sent me your screenshots. And unsurprisingly, in third place is ya boy with a score of 52,185. 1 star, and it took me 1 hour and 4 minutes to play through. I am very proud of this, though. I did not save scrub a single time.
Wow.
Okay.
Can you send me your
straight
score? I want
playthrough.
to see it, because 50,000 is pretty good. You didn't lose everything, so maybe some bodies were hidden. I need context.
I was
Followed some
spotted.
stories.
Basically, it was like I killed an on-target by accident, but I had no recordings.
Yeah.
Yep.
That does
In
it.
second place, y'all were very, very close. Y'all were within 2,000 points of each other.
Wow.
Get out of here.
Holy.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I sent a breakdown of the reason why I got my score was I want to know once you tell us what the actual reason was. It's an extra mission.
I can tell you what the reason is. Time. One of you did it faster than the other.
Wow.
In second place, with 152,931, 5 stars, Silent Assassin, is Moe.
Woo! Good job,
You did it in
Mike.
46 minutes and 48 seconds. Mike got a score of 154,956. He did it in 37 minutes and 41 seconds.
Nice stuff.
Man.
That's primo saves coming. I kind of was a little hesitant with mine.
I save scummed on 3 occasions when I felt the game was unfair, but before I start explaining my game, my playthrough, Jacob, I want to hear how your playthrough went.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think generally, I just want to set the scene first and say we've talked about how cool this level is. I think the cool part of it is how tight it is and how many people are in this level.
Yes. It feels alive.
Yeah.
And then there's new mechanics too. I'm sure we'll get into it when we go through your playthrough, Jacob, and maybe mine and Mike's. But there's a few new elements that they added where it's not usually the typical avoid the bad guys who are watching you. Now almost there's specific people who are always watching you and looking for anything suspicious. It's an extra level of difficulty, I find.
Yeah. I think this is a good point to let people listen to the briefing on this level, and then we can kind of set the scene and talk about the characters that we have to kill.
Good evening, 47. The militia has released a hostage tape outing the existence of Providence to the world. This was a fatal mistake, and our analysts are tracing its origin as we speak. In the meantime, we have a lead on Lucas Gray's top lieutenant. Turns out the Delgado cartel's counterfeiting unit was creating fake IDs for the militia, and one operative in particular stands out, Wazir Kale, an infamous South China Sea pirate better known by his nom de guerre, the Maelstrom. The Maelstrom and his cutthroat band of outlaws were the scourge of the shipping industry in the post-recession years. But his reign of terror came to an end with the disastrous 2014 hijacking of the supertanker Francis King. Chinese elite forces stormed the ship, resulting in the deaths of a dozen sailors and most of the Maelstrom's crew. But Kale slipped away unseen. The Maelstrom's connection to Gray is unknown, but we believe it was he who carried out the audacious killing of a Providence CEO in Shanghai, along with 2 reactivated members of his old pirate gang, Vanya Shah, a shady figure in Mumbai's criminal underworld, and Dawood Rangan, the gang's old cashier turned dodgy movie producer. Shah, Rangan, and the Maelstrom form Lucas Gray's Eastern Cell. They are a crack strike team, and stopping them is our client's most pressing concern. Unfortunately, the elusive Maelstrom appears to have vanished into the seedy underbelly of Mumbai, the cradle of his criminal legend, and no one knows his whereabouts or what he currently looks like. So, a bandit queen, a showbiz charlatan, and one certifiable ghost. I shall leave you to prepare.
Okay, so there are 3 targets again that we have to kill, but the really interesting part of this one is you only can identify 2 of them. And the third one, the Maelstrom, is kind of a mystery. So in addition to killing 2 targets in this level, you also have to discover a target and then kill him in the street.
Yeah.
Is that what you were referring to, Mo, as being like a cool different thing here?
Yeah, that's definitely one, because I didn't even think it was going to be a person, because it kind of comes up as like you have 2 targets when you start the game, and then you have objectives now, like tasks to complete. And for me, I was nervous because during one part of my playthrough, I got one target, and the other one I had my method figured out, but then I was like, am I gonna finish this level by killing the second target and then lose the opportunity to get more points? So once I kind of did the couple objectives, oh no, it's a third person, because it's not explicitly told to you before the game. Before the game, it's like, hey, there's 2 targets, and then something fishy is going on, and you discover that third one. But yeah, that was one of the few things I felt was changed.
Yeah, and just to kind of set the scene for everyone, Vania Shah, Dawood Rangan, and the Maelstrom are your targets. One is kind of a criminal turned movie director. The second is just someone who is a criminal who hangs out by the train station. And then the Maelstrom, obviously, is someone who's incredibly shady who you have to find.
And the thing that connects them all is that they all worked with the Maelstrom when they were much younger in a gang. And so they know each other, one being the queen of the slums, the other being the king of Bollywood. And yeah, they end up having some fun together.
So let me tell you a little bit about my playthrough. I decided to start with the movie director. And so the first thing I did was begin to walk through a construction site. I kind of climbed around, I jumped around, and I ended up finding out that he was set to kiss his co-star, and his co-star was not about it. I actually heard it by climbing some scaffolding and hearing some people talking about a script. Found the script, and then made my way to the roof where there's this elaborate scene. It's the final scene of the movie. They are the 2 co-stars are set to kiss, and that's when you engage in a little bit of sabotage. Did anyone else enjoy this Gone with the Wind kind of sub-story?
I did not.
I totally did, but mine was by choice, because when I saw that big fan up there while completing a different objective, I stopped myself in my tracks. I'm like, I want to do this one, just because from the previous level we did in Colombia, I kind of wanted to use the cement mixer and other stuff in a construction site, but I just defaulted to dropping a heavy object on one of those targets. So this time I saw that, I'm like, I need to figure out how to get to that, and I picked up a couple clues, pieced it together kind of without finding it out initially. So yeah, I did it as well.
Okay, so let's tag team this. You become a crewman on the site after you've given the script to the director, and you essentially need the screwdriver to be able to tamper with this fan. And when they're about to kiss, they're doing the scene, the cameras are rolling, you turn this fan on, and both characters literally fly off the building and just die.
Yeah. It's
Get out of here, really?
Yeah. And the whole thing is just like Jago kind of explained, the target himself is this sleazeball guy in the Bollywood scene, and he wants to kiss the actress, and she's like, why do we need to kiss? It has nothing. The director's he just saved Hollywood, he saved the city, Mumbai is safe now, blah blah blah, you have to kiss him, it's in the movie, get into character kind of thing. And she just did not want to do it. I kind of felt bad because she gets tossed off too, from the edge, but I don't know if she dies or not, because I was worried that was going to get rid of one of my stars by killing a non-target. But
yeah,
they both flew off.
I didn't really... Well, I actually did stick around. You can lean over and they're like, hey, so bad news. This thing happened and I think we killed Rangan. So that was very good. Occupational hazard on the job. The easiest kill I had in this entire level. My other 2 kills got real messy.
Did you how? Okay, because there's one thing. In order to get that completion, Jacob, you have to like find a script because the movie director is looking for it, and apparently they threw it down like an elevator chute.
Yep.
I thought it was pretty neat. You didn't bring it up. How like because you have to kind of go into this like construction elevator chute, and it's just kind of sitting on the ledge. And
How do you get it?
So I picked up a cricket ball. That was my method, and I literally.
Does that work?
This is what happened. I was sitting in front of it. I tried to reach. I climbed all around. I did my Assassin's Creed, trying to reach over, jump. Nothing was working. And then I was like, "What would Morton do?" Morton was one of our guests in episode 2. So I was like, "Let me just throw something and see what happens." I chucked the cricket ball, and it just naturally falls over and falls to the bottom. And I went and picked it up that way. That was my method. Jacob, something similar?
Yeah, I did the same struggle you did, but I threw a wrench at it.
Of course.
Nice.
That wasn't a person.
I had multiple
it was a
wrenches.
script. It wasn't a person.
I stumbled across it when I was, patrolling that area, and I was like, oh, this has got to be intel or something. I'm going to increase my score if I grab it. And I couldn't figure it out, so I was like, this is not important to my task. I'm going to run away.
Yeah, I almost did that, but just I knew I picked up a cricket ball, and I was like, I don't need this. It's not a weapon. It shouldn't make too much noise. Threw it, and it worked perfectly. I'm like, this is awesome. Cool. A new mechanic. I really didn't know that you can like shift items or like complete objectives, because if you could literally like walk up to it and just say, okay, I guess I can't finish this one. I can't figure it out. Like you're missing something. It's a Google search waiting to happen to figure out that scenario.
So I quickly escape. I go down the elevator shaft. I run out. And basically more than half of my playthrough was figuring out how to get to the Maelstrom. Essentially, you have to figure out information to get to him and then walk around the streets of Mumbai and find a man who looks like a picture that you found. And so my biggest struggle, and I don't know if y'all had the same struggle, but getting into the Crow's hideout was like a really tough thing because there's like 8 levels on the map if you check it out, and that's just because there's so much subterranean space to explore. System. Yeah, exactly. Did you
the sewer system is crazy. You can go through pretty much the whole city.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can enter multiple ways too.
Yeah, I think I stumbled. Like, so, you know how I usually always say, like, I kind of go through the level, trying to explore, figure out every little bit. While, like, almost pursuing one method to kill one of the targets, I found, like, an entrance to the sewer system, and I got, like, a message from our follower, or I can't remember what her name is, our caretaker who gives us instructions, was like, oh, you're going into the belly of the beast kind of thing. I was like, okay, this must be important. So I had, like, those mental, like, checkpoints in my head thinking if I need to go down here for an objective, okay, this is a way and this is another way. But I think I stumbled upon the objectives in that Maelstrom bit easier because I was just exploring and I didn't have to like specifically go to like find an entrance. I found one before it was an objective of mine.
Yeah, because you can go, like, there's a house on the beach that has, like, a boat that you can knock over.
Oh.
As a part of this, you can enter that house. You can enter through the sewers. There's a side alley that you can enter in. And I just struggled for at least 20 minutes of how to, like, I actually, like, knocked out maybe 6 or 7 guys that were just on top. And I didn't even bother, like, dragging them somewhere. Like, they were just hanging out. And I couldn't figure out how to get like into their real like hideout to find a picture of the Maelstrom forever. So that was my struggle. And then walking through the streets of Mumbai, I ended up having to go through like 10 guys to see, is this the Maelstrom? You do this thing where you get real close. There's a little indicator timer that comes up, and then you say, Agent 47, that's not the Maelstrom. Keep looking.
Okay, so you killed the Bollywood producer.
Yep.
Dawood Rangan.
Yeah, Dawood. How did you kill Vanya? Or did you go to the Maelstrom before?
I went to the Maelstrom second.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which that was the thing that added a bunch of time to me, and truly, like, I eventually found him. We were in an alley, and I followed him for maybe like 5 minutes to see, like, hey, can I get him somewhere where I can just kill him easily? The answer is no. So I had a screwdriver, and I'll share the video on social, but I had a screwdriver, and I just whipped it at him and ran away.
Okay, I gotta make an executive call here. You did not play this game. No. Actually, no. I think we've established this before. Maybe in like Hitman 1, like that's your method. That's you playing the game. So
Yep.
I take that back. I just caught myself in
Yeah,
an
they
accusation.
don't call me the screwdriver for no reason.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I feel like if you don't do it now, you're not playing the game. Like if you do some like actual like objective and fit it, I'm like, nah, Jacob. Like you have to try. Throw the screwdriver.
Just wait until you hear how I killed Shaw in my final kill here, because it was truly a mess.
Oh no.
Okay, I can't wait.
Yeah. So my kills are always dirty and gross. So like, let me just get to my third kill here. I get into the train station. I change into like an elite guard outfit. I make my way onto the roof of the train station, and I'm gonna let you guys fill in a lot of the color here because your kills were probably more masterful than mine. And I started walking the catwalks, and I had like an AK-47 essentially. And so she is sitting like in a train station on a throne just with all of her cronies around her. So I just, again, and I'll share this video too because I took videos of both. I just aimed down. I kind of did the vision, the Hitman vision, where you could see like where they are. And I just shot about 10 bullets, shot her in the head, and ran away.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did people like know where you were? Did you get the arrested mark, or was it just like assassinated? Good job.
I got the hey, good job, assassin. There's like a
That's
there's
kind
a
of cool, actually.
task you can get for like using a gun to kill the person, and it was the first time I'd done it in this game. And truly, I was actually kind of proud of myself on this one.
Nice. How did you get through the crowds with all of the, all the lookouts?
It wasn't an issue to me.
Wasn't an issue for
No.
you? Okay.
Yeah, I think what I ended up doing is like, because there are like 3 levels of different costumes you can get. There are like servants, and there are bodyguards, and like elite bodyguards or something. And I think what I just did is I got a
Queen's
bodyguard
Guard.
really quickly, and then made my way inside, and then found somebody, knocked him out, take his clothing to like be able to walk the catacombs,
Right.
the catwalks really easily, and just like ran like the wind once I murdered her with a gun.
Man, Jacob, see, like that's killing someone with a gun in Hitman for me is like such like a difficult task that I
Yes.
always avoid it in any way. Like if I can, like I don't even know why I bring it into the level sometimes. I'm like, there's not going to be a situation where I'm going to use this. So I'm always like, when you said you got like an accomplishment for taking a target down with a gun, that's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, thank you. I will, like I said, I'll share the videos of both of my kills because I think they were pretty good despite my score not showing it. I didn't save scrub a single time, so I'm gonna say I did.
I'm proud
good.
of you.
Thank you.
You didn't even do like an exploratory playthrough, right?
Nope.
You just okay. Yeah,
I went straight
hey,
into it.
Hey, that's great.
Yeah, thank you. I just like going first in these. That's why I do it. So next up we have Moe, who is gonna tell us about his playthrough.
Yeah, I did a few objectives. Like I sent another photo to you, Jacob, to show like all the little missions and like objectives I cleared until I figured out the one I wanted. So I'm hoping Mike completed some of the ones I didn't use because there's only 2 real targets in this game.
Yeah, let me give some color here. So Moe actually got, I think, more. Yeah, he got 10,000 more XP than Mike did.
Ooh.
Because he did 58K worth of XP in challenges, where Mike only did 47K worth of XP. So Moe, I think that you're going to tell us about your masterful playthrough that just took a little bit longer to organize.
Yeah,
I'm pretty confident that the only difference is we chose different paths.
Yeah, I think so. Because like, if you take down all 3 targets silently and you delete the like recording of the thing, you're like guaranteed 150K in like points.
Yes.
I've found so far in this game. So where should I start? Okay, so just to kind of summarize what was going on. When I first started out, I started off on the path of discovering that there's a photographer, a famous American photographer in the game, that you have to kind of steal their clothing because they have like a photo shoot with Daywood in like the movie set area. So this is how I discovered actually the fan initially. I spent so much time trying to like get his costume and like disposing of the body, but no matter what I did, because he only had a small path, this photographer, I put his body underneath a bridge, I put it next to some trash, I tried to hide it away from all NPCs, but throughout the game I'd always get body found eventually. I might have had like 10 minutes to walk around, and eventually I said, you know what, this might not be the path for me. While I was doing that, that's when I discovered the underground system, because like I tried to almost hide him in the underground system, but then there was like an NPC that walked down there, and then when I got to the video area, I essentially what the objective is like Daewood comes to sit in front of like a backstop with a bunch of like other girls that are dressed up, and then you're supposed to pose with him to like for a photo. And there's one little section where everyone walks away from a glass of champagne, and you can put like rat poison. And then in my head, it just didn't sit right because there's such very basic methods in Hitman. I didn't want to like put rat poison in his champagne. He goes to the bathroom, I kill him, kind of thing. So once that happened, I started that conversation with the director. She said something about a script. I started exploring the back rooms, and I found like instructions for a fan. I was like, okay, that sounds pretty neat. And that's when I deviated and said, let me restart. Let me do this fan section. So like I said in your playthrough, I found the fan, turned it on, blew them away, and finished Daewood that way. Next up was Shaw, the queen of the slums. Is that what it was?
Yeah, she was hiding in the train yard.
Yeah, so with hers, I discovered a tactic for her when I was walking past one of like the like string merchants, like the ones that were creating dresses. And there was like a tailor.
The tailor.
Yeah. So, Mike, did you do the tailor one or no?
I did not.
Awesome.
But
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I like this one. This one was kind of neat. So how I discovered the tailor was when I was exploring, and initially I walked past that like train yard area where it's defended by these like elite soldiers, and there was no way to get around them. And speaking of like getting around some soldiers, I found that maybe this is not new, but in this level there were these like sentries type like soldiers who have been instructed to keep an eye out for anyone looking suspicious. So they were almost on every corner, and I've had to take advantage of like the hiding amongst the crowds to pretty much get around them and not get discovered, because like I'm trying to do the silent assassin, and they'll figure out who you are regardless of what costume you had. I think only the tailor's costume was the only one that was able to get past them without any suspicion. So anyways, to get to the tailor, so you find out that this tailor does not want to create this like garment for her because she wants like a fancy garment, and he does not want to do it. And one of the guards is like, get out of the house, like come, like whatever. And when you walk in there, he tells his like family or his other workers like, hey, I'm gonna go away on vacation, like I don't want to do this. And he immediately just starts booking it to like the back routes where the boats are. He goes up to like a fisherman. He's like, can you get me out of here? And he's like, tonight. Fisherman's like, you need some money. So he's like, okay, I'll go find some money. Meanwhile, I'm just tailing him to figure out where he's going to be going. Eventually, he goes near this like back of the house area, and he's making a phone call. There's high grass, so I choke him out, drag him into the high grass. It's covered. I'm like, there's no way anyone's going to walk back here, but same situation. I was nervous that a body would be found. Yeah. I tried to chuck him over a fence, but it said non-target killed, so I restarted that. I was like, all right, I'll just keep you here and just fingers crossed. If it's a body found, then that's my score kind of thing is what I was kind of taking it as. I dress up as the tailor, and one of the coolest things happened. So the next step in the tailor objective is you have to like go get some like fancy garments to create the dress like for the queen. Yep. And you pull up to this like table where this guy, he's selling different colors of like garments, and he gives you this whole story about he's like, oh, these are the best garments in the land. They're gonna cost you 5 coins, so Mike's coins, you know, the ones that you throw.
Oh wow!
Get out of here, really?
Yeah, he's like, they cost 5 coins, and then he's like,
That's
oh,
so
he's like, you're a hard sell, okay, and then he starts making a story. He's like, okay, 4 coins. Yeah, like.
I ran up to that table, yoinked both claws, and blended in with the crowd so that way he couldn't find me.
Oh wow,
like,
really?
I didn't realize you could haggle with him.
It's so fun. Yeah, there's a whole story because he plays on the fact that like 47 has like a death stare. He's like, you look empty inside, and like the whole like spiel. And eventually he's like 4 coins. I was like, yes. But then I'm like, because I love save scumming. I'm like, okay, I'll save at 4, see if anything happens. And then he's like, okay, you drive a hard bargain. He's like, okay, you know what? I'll give it to you at cost. 3 coins, but that's the lowest I can go. Come on, man, it's a good price, take it. And then I kind of like stood fast. I was like, whatever. And he's like, okay, my kids are only gonna eat rice for the next night, so I'll give it to you for 2 coins, I think, is what he dropped it down to. And then he gets angry. He's like, my grandmother like blood, sweat, and tears to like make these like at home, and now I'm only selling them for 2. No. You're 3 coins, or take it or leave it, bud. I was like, shoot, I messed up. So I kind of hesitated for a sec. I'm like, let me just pause to see like if I walk away. Let's see how awesome like the UI or whatever it might be is. So I kind of let him walk. I walk away just a bit. And I come back, and he's like, okay, fine. You know what? 1 coin. So I bought the garment
Wow.
because it gives you the option to keep like just waiting and waiting, and he just keeps playing on the whole fact that 47 is just dead inside and not responding, and it's like an awesome
That's so
negotiator.
cool. That's so cool.
Yeah, so I picked up a garment. Unfortunately, it was the wrong color, so then I had to go through that same thing again. But I had a save scum at like 3 coins, so I just waited for the conversation to drop to 1 again. Grabbed the blue one because it matched the objective, like snapshot that you see when like you discover like a mission. I grabbed the blue one, and that was the good one. From there, I head to the Slum Queen.
Yep.
And one thing I wanted to like kind of, I've been noticing like almost all of the targets in Hitman are like, they seem to be like bad people or like have bad intentions, and like they almost justify like you should take these people down. Yeah. And like like for the Bollywood guy, like Creep, like he doesn't deserve to die, but at the same time, like it's like they make a good case for him. But with the Slum Queen, I'm walking up, I'm like, how are they gonna do this one? So I walk up, and there's like a lineup of people coming to speak to the Queen. And I'm next in line, like waiting to talk to her to like do her measurements and like whatever. And she's like, okay, well for this, I'm gonna need you and your wife's service for the next 5 years, and I will pay for like the expenses for your daughter until she's able to work at like the garment facility. She's of age to work at the garment facility thing. And then she's like, okay, now go talk to your wife, and I'll accept your acceptance tonight, kind of thing, like forcing this obviously dude and his wife like in a really unfortunate situation to like serve her, and then literally waiting until the child's able to have probably like motor skills to be able to create some kind of garment. So it was like very like vicious. So anyways, that comes up, you pull up, and I'm like, okay, I'm here to take your measurements. And she's like, let me see the garment. You show her the blue garment. She's like, great. She takes you to the like a train car, a private train car, and she tells everyone to leave, but there's this one like server who's like sweeping in the back towards you. I do the measurements and eventually tell her, okay, turn around, I gotta measure like your like torso or whatever it was. And as soon as you turn around, like pretty much choked her out with the measuring tape. And I left the body, like nice. I saved there, and I left the body there because I thought I was good. But then as soon as I left, I'm like, that person's gonna probably turn around within like 5 seconds. It's like body
How
discovered.
far were they from you?
So it was like a regular sized train car, and it seemed like it was kind of to scale. So I was at the one end, and the other person was at the other end. So they didn't hear the choke out, but it was kind of close.
I only asked because it made me think of the tattoo artist kind of story we went through last episode, and then also like I actually didn't go down into the train yard. Like I was on the catwalk, so like pardon my curiosity.
It was right next to like her throne area. You just kind of walk around, and there's like a train car that's not on a track, I think, but it's just its own, and it's like her living quarters kind of thing. And it's all nice and like fancy with like closets and like a vanity kind of thing. But anyway, so I restarted that, took both of them out and put them both in like a storage bin that was in the train car, perfectly placed, and kind of moved on from there. So very typical choke out with some kind of string, and moved on. And then I started doing the Maelstrom objectives, which I kind of liked because I was being very sneaky. Initially I did most of them using the tailor's outfit, but then I discovered like once I got down into my area of the Maelstrom objectives, I was able to find like an elite soldier's outfit. But like I said earlier, it wasn't like a super user. I still was able to be identified when I went above ground. I found out that you had like this ability to like, I don't know if you guys did too, I'm guessing you're able to detect like who the Maelstrom is by walking around and discovering different people. So I did it. I might have scanned like a good like 5 to 10 people before I finally found like my one person. And when I did find the one person, throughout my gameplay I discovered a barbershop like method to take him down. Mike, did you do the barbershop?
I did not, but I stumbled across it as well.
The only reason I ask is I'm hesitant because I always like when we do different ones, like genuinely. So I'm glad just right there. So cool. So anyway, so the barbershop one, it's a very just standard way, I guess, to kill, but it was very cool. So what happens is there's a barber who's been requested by like the gang to like shave the Maelstrom, but he can't remember what the Maelstrom looks like. He's like, I have no idea what he looks like because no one does. And he's like, and what if like he comes up to ask for a haircut, and I don't like accept his haircut, whatever it is. He's just super nervous. So this is right after I discovered who the Maelstrom was. I unlocked that bit. Then I pretty much choked him out, threw him in his closet in his home, and then his wife was patrolling up and down the staircases in the home, so she had to get taken down too. Threw her in the closet, like choked her out. Yeah, and then one of the cool things, it's kind of like a mini game, but not really. But when you get the barber's like uniform and his keys, and you open up his shop, there's a bunch of people that start lining up asking for haircuts. So you have to like go out there. I didn't know this at the time, but you have to decline a couple people to clear up space. So the maelstrom, as he's doing his pathing, he'll pull up and like request a haircut. But if you don't do that, he'll just keep walking around throughout the city, keep checking back at the line, and then come back. So I didn't know that really for a good 5 minutes. Yeah. So I went up to one person. I said, no, thank you. Another one, no, thank you. And while I had one person there, he just pulls up, and I'm like, okay, I'll give you a haircut. And then he goes in, sits there. You have like the barber's like shaver thing. You just slice his throat.
Yeah.
He's dead. The barbershop's like enclosed off, like in the windows too, so no one can see anything. From there, I just jumped on one of those. I think they're called the tuk-tuks, those little like things. Jumped on one of those and just ripped away. Before I finished, that I've noticed like. So Morton has really cool ways of like leaving the levels, and I've never really explored like good ones. Do you guys actively look for cool exits, or do you just find the first one like me?
Every single time I look for the quickest exit,
Same.
so that way I do not screw up my playthrough.
Same.
Mm-hmm. Next time I might feel like try something funky.
It's a playthrough 2, 3, or 4 that I think you start looking for the funkiest ones.
Okay. Yeah, occasionally like I'll have a crowbar and I'll be able to like jimmy open a sewer hatch and just like go in that. But like truly, it's this one I just walked out of it. I'm just like, cool, I'm leaving now. Goodbye.
I want to like jump on a train or something, or like take like a fishing boat. Those were probably options. I just didn't walk that far to check, kind of thing, because I discovered the area, and I feel like when you discover the area, you have probably access to a new escape.
If you listen to episode 116, Morton Elgard was on the show. He's a UI designer at IO Interactive. He jumped on a dolphin in the Miami level.
Yeah.
Dressed as a flamingo.
Yes. Ay. Mike, you're up.
Take us home.
All right. Okay, so I think you might be able to call this, 1 1/4 playthrough, because I took Moe's approach.
Okay.
Where you load up the mission and you just run around for a while. And you just start like trying to poke around, see what there is, see what stories there are. And I did that, and I realized a couple things. One, there is a challenge to get all 3 targets sniped from the beach, from the tower in the beach. And I was like, this is crazy.
I don't want to jump in, but I went through a little section where I found a sniper and like looked like zoomed in his scope, but then as I was going through my playthrough, I'm like, this is a decision I have to make. Do I go through the sniper? Do I not? And I'm glad you did that route. I want to know.
So there's one where you do the sniping, and there's another where you allow someone else to do the sniping. And so I decided there's nothing more Agent 47 than killing your target without actually having to do the dirty work, right?
So
with having an environmental hazard, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
So I was committed to allowing the Kashmirian to take them out. And find the Kashmirian by, as soon as you load into the mission from the default spot, running straight through, then there's I think they call them the Chalas or something along those lines. And loading into this mission, I realized, I don't need some of these tools. This is one of the very first times I changed my loadout before coming into the mission.
Okay.
Cool.
And I got rid of my garrote and swapped it for a lockpick. And that became extremely useful because there are a lot of picked doors along the way. And it is just really nice to not need to pick up a crowbar or find an open window. You can just pick it and get inside.
Y'all, I'm surprised we've never talked about like loadouts because every mission go for lockpick.
Really?
Yeah. It's the most useful thing you can have in your inventory.
I deliberately don't bring anything in, and this mission for Mumbai I almost did, but part of me is like going fresh for whatever reason. But like now that you guys are starting to talk about it, I'm like, next mission, because I want to change it up. It's one of the cool things about Hitman is you can sometimes bring stuff in, sometimes it's like a handicap, but those lockpicks are so clutch to get into some spots that like you just want to get to because it's a small part of a like mission you want to open up. So I'm glad to hear everyone's using them now.
Yes. So I noticed in that before you load into the mission screen, that there is a challenge to help the assassin take out all three. And I'm like, oh, so I don't have to do all the shooting. I'm going to allow the Kashmirian to do it. And if, in your prowling, you can find his apartment where he has a big board with a whole map of Mumbai, and Dawood and Vanya both there on the board. And you realize, okay, he's going to take them both out. All I need to do is, fix his scope because this professional assassin can't focus properly. And then you end up completing other little things along the way. So the very first target is Dawood. You need to sneak into the unfinished high-rise where he is, hop the wall, turn on the tap, wait for a guard to come to clear it, choke him out, put him in the bin that's right next to it, wear his outfit, walk all the way up to the top. And I think my curiosity helped more than anything, because I ended up finding paints and cans and different tools along the way. And Dawood's coming to look at this painting that this painter's making of him, but the painter, in typical painterly fashion, is frustrated because they can't get it quite right. Mm-hmm. But if you just wait until he turns his back, you can stuff the one color that he's looking for back in his kit, and he'll find it, and he'll be able to finish the painting. And Dawood comes into the room, and boom, his head gets popped.
Nice.
And, target number 1 down.
Wow,
and then
cool.
you end up getting a notification from your guide saying, oh, the Kashmirian's on the move. And you go back to his apartment, and you find, oh, now he's looking at the overpass where Vanya's going to be. So you fix his scope, and you realize, okay, well, I need to become the new foreman of the laundry, because that's who she wants to meet with. Mm-hmm. And so, you sneak through, you get inside, and you end up, I turn on the radio, wait for his buddy to come into the room, choke him out, put him in, and then turn it back on again. He's like, what? The radio's back on again? And he comes back down to turn it off, choke him out, wear his outfit, carry it outside. There are 3 areas that I save scummed in this map, and this was one of them. On my way out of the high rise, there was a lot of champagne, and there was also a saber to French that champagne, to pop the bottles. And I grabbed the saber and was just carrying it on my back. But if you're the foreman of the laundry, you running around with a saber on your back is not kosher. So everyone has their guard up. Yeah. And they're the little white dot above their head. I was able to sneak my way all the way to the guard I'm supposed to meet, and then he sees me and he's like, "You're super suspicious. You've got to go." And I couldn't figure out what it was. I was like, I played this perfectly. Like, I'm sneaking around everyone. I'm treating all the NPCs as if they're like the most sensitive people in the world. And then I realized I've got this big blade on the back.
Yeah, you got like an RPG on your back pretty much for like that area. Yeah,
exactly. So I end up save scumming, dropping it, running out, having no issues getting to the guy. He escorts me to the catwalk. I end up having a conversation with Vanya about how we're gonna really squeeze every last drop of productivity out of the poor peasants in the slum. And then 1, 2, 3, a bullet comes, pops her in the head.
Wow.
And you're done, right?
Cool.
So a 1, 2, top 2 targets are done. Now I have to find the maelstrom. And again, you get the voiceover, hey, the Kashmirian's on the move. So, then it becomes a follow him mission. And he gets on the phone and he says, hey, you're going to want to talk to me. I've just done the best interview you've ever imagined. And he says, okay, great, meet me here. So he ends up going on a little walk. You have to follow him and not be spotted. And he ends up taking you right to the maelstrom's hideout. And this is the second area that I save scummed, because it says to just follow him, and then he went into an area that I couldn't go, and it said mission story failed, and I was like, what the heck just happened? And I realized this was a gripe of mine once I save scummed it. I was just trying to figure out what I did wrong. Once he gets to a certain point, it switches from follow him to take his outfit and impersonate him.
Ah, gotcha.
So I wait until he gets to an alley. He starts having a convo with himself, psyching him up. I hit the switch on the wall. All the light goes off. He gets suspicious. He comes over. As he flips the switches back on, I choke him out, dump him in a dumpster, wear his clothes. I am now the Kashmirian.
Oh, yeah.
And I walk into the Maelstrom's inner sanctum. His escort takes me all the way in. They frisk me twice. It was a Benny Hill thing where I was just dropping illegal item after illegal item.
Everyone, yeah.
Like mail cutter, pair of scissors, razor blades, every little thing that I picked up along the way.
Yep.
I was just dropping. There was a pile of weapons at my feet just before they frisked me. So I get frisked twice and make it down in there, and then you have a conversation with the Maelstrom. And
Interesting.
This is the third time that I save scummed because I wanted to hear every bit of dialogue and I didn't want to have to load it back in. Mm-hmm. So I just waited until he was, absolutely done, and just, save scummed it from there. But then, there's an AK in the corner that is very tempting. I walked up to it multiple times and I really wanted to grab it, but I realized it was an illegal item, and it would bring the red flares. So yeah, long story short, choked him out, put him in a little dumpster there, and then immediately just booked it. Took a little tuk-tuk out of there, and that was
wow.
that.
Clean, Jacob.
I felt amazing about it. I've never felt more proud.
Jacob, I feel like it's time to declare it. The artisanal killer has returned.
Yeah.
It's taken some time.
Clean,
So-
I like it. That's a 47 I really enjoy when it's done like that efficiently.
So just tell me, how do you initiate this again? Because I'm doing it because I might go back tonight and play this. How do you initiate the Kashmirian?
Mo, you found it, right?
Yeah, I found it. So when you enter into the game, I can't remember what this area is called, but it's like almost like a 3-story apartment complex where there's like a courtyard in the middle. As soon as you walk in there, your handler mentions, "Hey, there's some like weird guest who is up here, and the people are complaining that he's like just different or weird. Go find out what's going on." And then I just started climbing up, entering every like doorway I could. And eventually, when you get to like the 3rd floor, there's like a gate that for another rooftop access. And when you walk up to the top of that roof, you see the Kashmirian looking out of a window, and there's a sniper rifle behind him. So you can literally walk up to the sniper rifle without him noticing. And I think that starts that path. And it's just mentioned as like you might want to investigate this 47, and you can leave it or not, but that's like the kind of how you start it.
Interesting.
And looking into his scope lets you know where you ultimately need to get the target, or where you need to be.
Got it.
Cool.
Okay.
That's a new dynamic that I don't know if any of the other levels, or maybe we just didn't discover anything. But that's like almost like having starting like doing one mission, technically one big mission to take everyone out, is like having that extra assassin. It's almost like I can't remember the movie, but there's is it John Wick? How there's like other assassins that are coming to kill the assassin. Yeah. It's like one of those kind of situations.
It reminds me of the storylines that you get where there's a rabid fan or a stalker.
Yeah.
It's just taking it to the next level, right? Instead of having a rabid fan that takes out one of your targets, or a stalker that takes out one of your targets, it's one guy who's cleaning up house for you. When you leave the Maelstrom's den where you get to kill him, there's an exit as soon as you leave, but you need the keys for it, and I did not know where the keys were, so I had to run up to where we started, take a little tuk-tuk, and escape from there.
Yeah, there's a game mode in this game called Sniper Assassin, and I guess it's like a standalone mode that you could do in co-op, but now you can only do single player, and I think it's in Hitman 3 as well. I'm going to look into it next episode and talk a little bit more about it, but just wanted to say that that's available as well. Boys, we're getting better. At least you're getting better. I feel like I'm just staying the same.
No, you got a star. That's an upgrade. It's like 100% increase in your score.
Next time, I'm just going to spend more time on it. That's all I need to do, and then I'm going to come after both you next.
Let's do it. I look forward to it.
All right, well, hey, that was our 4th episode of our Hitman 2 series. If you listened to this all the way through and said, wait, there's 3 more? Yes. and we played the original game too. You can find all of that in our podcast feed or at leftbehindgame.club. If you like talking about video games, including this one, you can talk to some wonderful, wonderful people in our Discord. You can find the link to that at leftbehindgame.club/Discord. One more thing that you can do if you love this show, actually two things really. You can send it to a friend that loves video games, because truly, sending podcasts to friends is how people discover podcasts, and give us a review on your podcasting platform of choice, because it really helps. Mo, if people want to find you on the internet, where can they do so?
You can find me at Murtati on almost all social media platforms, and I try to stay as active as I can on the Discord server, trying to get as many deals as possible in that deals channel. Jacob, where can the fine folks find you?
You can find me on the internet at Jacob McCourt on all major social media platforms. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I also do another podcast. It's called Cutscenes. It is a video game movie podcast. We have announced that we are doing a season 3 of it coming later this year. You can find that at cutscenes.ca and on all major podcasting platforms. Mike, where can folks find you?
The fine folks can find me at RufloM on most social platforms, or michaelruflo.com or .ca, whichever you prefer. And then most importantly, you can find me in the Discord, and you can find the Discord by going to leftbehindgame.club and clicking that big Join Discord button in the middle of the page.
Don't discard this Discord.
There we go.
Mike, what do we say to him?
And that's one less episode left behind.